I got my hands on the Lumix S9, Lumix's newest full-frame camera. I've never used a Lumix camera in my life before, but I've got 48 hours to figure out if the hype is real and who this camera is for. When I saw this camera for the first time yesterday, the first thought that went through my mind was, this really does look like a Leica, like everybody's been saying. It has a really clean body, only a few buttons, and the version that I'm using is green, similar to that Reporter Leica edition. And I like that there's a thumb grip on the back to give you a little bit more grip. The body does have a bit of a plasticky feel, but it doesn't feel cheap in my opinion. I also noticed there's no eyepiece, there's no D-pad for controlling the menus, and it can be charged through USB-C. I'm also impressed with how small the lenses for these cameras really are. I was given a 28-200 and I thought I had a small 28-200 for my Sony, and this thing is even smaller. Most of the lenses that I use on my Sony are Tamron, and the filter size on those is 67mm, which is the same as these lenses, which is great for me because all of my filters are gonna fit on these lenses. I saw that it was gonna be rainy and kind of nasty and overcast today, so last night I went out while the sun was out for a little bit and took this camera for a test drive. The first thing that I noticed while shooting video is how good this image stabilization was. I did not bring a tripod with me, and I swear this video looks ridiculously still. Right now I'm just hand holding the camera. I've got it on the highest image stabilization setting, and I'm using the 18mm. I believe it crops in a little bit, but how good does that stabilization look? If I walk around not worrying about how jerky my steps are, this is what it's gonna look like. I try to keep up with all the camera brands and all the new cameras that they're putting out, so I'm aware that all of these new Lumix cameras are open gate. Open gate means that the sensor in this camera is more square than the Sony camera and the Canons that I've used in the past. As someone who shoots a lot of social media content for clients, they want everything in vertical and horizontal, and having a feature like this makes it much easier to crop into your horizontal videos to give them a vertical video. This camera is also shooting in 6K, which is wild. I have never worked with 6K footage before, and so I don't even know how large these files are gonna be. I can imagine this would be great for reframing your images after and having more resolution, especially if you're trying to crop your stuff to vertical. I briefly looked at the footage that I was shooting last night, and I was so impressed with how crispy it was and how good it looked right out of the camera. Now, it wasn't right out of camera. I did use some of Alex's LUTs on that footage, but I was so happy with how it looked without any editing. The fact that I could shoot with built-in LUTs felt like cheating. Now, they weren't the exact colors and way that I would edit my footage. Some of these were the built-in LUTs on this camera, and some of them are my friend Alex's, so I wasn't entirely familiar with how I should expose for them or what conditions I should shoot in, but I was pretty happy with how the videos looked right out of camera with these LUTs baked in. If you can find a LUT or a look or two that matches your surroundings or something that you use on a frequent basis, your editing time and color grading time is going to drastically shrink. I didn't get a chance to add my LUTs onto this camera. I'm actually using Alex's Car Creative one right now, and I'm not gonna edit these. This is how it's gonna look. So he's got these for sale if you want your footage to look like this. Actually, watch his channel. His are probably more correct than how mine look. When I was navigating the menus or turning the dials to change any settings, I didn't have much of an issue. Now, I don't know if that's because Alex did a really good job of setting the camera up, or if that's just the way these Lumix cameras come out of the box. All of the menu items were named appropriately. I could pretty quickly find what I was looking for, and there wasn't much confusion about what each setting meant. Let's talk microphones for a sec. I've got a Rode Wireless Go on the camera, and I've got a lav on me so I can walk around a little bit. Now I've got a shotgun mic on the top of the camera. It's about an arm's length away from me. How does that sound? And now this is the internal mic. I've got neither of these plugged in. How does that sound? There's no headphone jack built into this camera, which means I can't monitor any of the audio that's recording. In situations like this, where I'm just recording myself, I can see a little screen right here, and I can see that my levels are hitting an okay spot, so that's not really an issue to me. Autofocus for video has been really great. I've been using the wide autofocus mode, and my subject has been in frame pretty much all of the time. There's a bunch of other focus modes, and I'm pretty sure that Lumix wants you changing the focus just tapping the screen, but I've been pretty happy with just the wide focus mode. So the card on this camera just filled up. No wonder, I've been shooting in 6K open gate, so I just went home and dumped it, and I noticed when I was looking through the footage that the LUT I've been using looks great, but I have just kind of been setting it and forgetting it, and some of the images look a little darker than others, so bear with me. I'm gonna do my best moving forward. Like I mentioned before, this camera doesn't have an eyepiece or a D-pad. So what's that like for shooting photos? Well, it wasn't the easiest, or at least what I'm used to. I'm used to bringing the camera up to my face, and I did that many times with this camera, unfortunately, and looked very silly, and realized I just needed to shoot off the back of the screen. I shoot off the back of the screen all the time, that's not a problem, and thankfully this screen is large and fairly bright, even in bright sunlight. I didn't miss the D-pad as much as I thought I would. The camera did a really great job of identifying what the subject was in the scene that I was shooting, and if I wanted to change the focus to somewhere else, I just had to tap on the screen. In terms of ergonomics, I'm used to having a couple more dials that have just become second nature of what they all do, and this camera's all new to me, so it did feel a little tricky to change settings on the go. I'm very thankful there's this small rig grip on the camera, because I would have dropped this camera many times without that little extra grip on there. If this camera is just sitting at your house or just on a tripod all the time, this grip is not necessary. But if you're taking this camera out of the house, you need a grip. I am not a grip person, but you need a grip for this camera. It is so slippery. Because this camera is so new, I actually can't access the RAW files on my computer or in Lightroom because they don't recognize them yet. So instead, I've been using the LUTs that are on this camera to give my image a finished look, just on the JPEG, not on the RAW. Because I don't have access to the Lumix Lab app yet, and I don't really know how to upload the LUTs or picture profiles on here, I've just been using the ones that are on the camera or the ones that Alex had programmed in. They're not exactly how I would shoot, and that was kind of throwing me off when I'm taking these photos, or maybe I'm just really rusty at taking photos or couldn't find good compositions. Honestly, could be the case. But all of that aside, if you can get your preset or LUT or whatever you want to call it on here, these photos are freaking crispy. They look so good. For most of the photos, I was just using the variable lens, the 28-200, and these photos look amazing. Like, I was so stoked on how sharp these guys are. Speaking of the 28-70, Alex showed me this really cool feature called hybrid zoom, and I think it just works in photo. With this feature turned on, that variable lens, the 28-200, actually turns into a 28-600. The way this works is as you're zooming into the image, the camera is also digitally cropping into the sensor. So if you're somebody like me who likes to travel light when they're on vacation, maybe you only need to bring one lens to get every single focal range. Either way, like a really cool feature that I haven't seen in any other camera before. This is my first time using a Lumix camera, so everything is new to me. The menus, the file formats, where everything is located on the camera. So I guarantee you I am doing some things incorrectly. Downright wrong. I know I'm doing some stuff on this camera completely wrong. Overall, I'm really impressed with this camera. The images and videos that are coming out of this thing should not be as good as they are. I feel like I'm missing a little bit of the magic of this camera, and that's because I don't have the Lumix Lab app. Right now the app is in beta, it's only available for the people who got this camera early, but from what I'm told, that's where you can upload your LUTs, your presets, whatever Lumix is calling them, and get them right on your camera, so they're baked into your photos and videos, and so you can quickly transfer them over to your phone and post them on social media quickly. That being said, I think that is who this camera is for. Somebody who's looking to take their photos and videos right off of their phone and get them onto social media or publish them or to their client as fast as possible. I don't think this camera is geared towards professional video creators. It doesn't have a full-size HDMI, it doesn't have a headphone jack, it doesn't have time code, and there is a record limit of 10-15 minutes. It's a lot shorter than most cameras. I also don't think it's geared towards high-end photo people without an EVF or a D-pad or some of the other controls that photo people are used to. But if you're looking for a full-frame, relatively inexpensive camera that has interchangeable lenses, or you're in your first few years of photo video, I think this camera is fantastic. Many of the features that are in this camera aren't in my $5,000 Sony a7S III. I do wish Lumix prioritized better internal microphones on this thing so you didn't need to put a Rode mic on it, similar to how Sony has prioritized that on their other entry-level cameras. I can also see this camera being a really great camera for travel. Not only are the lenses really small, The body is really small, but you can also transfer your photos and images to your phone really quickly to share. And the photos and videos are gonna be extremely high quality. And you can bake your look into them. So I think it's a win-win-win if you're gonna travel with this thing. Alex, thank you for letting me use your camera for the day. I didn't drop it, I promise. I may have messed up some of your settings though. If you guys wanna see a real review from somebody who actually knows how to use Lumix, Alex is your guy. Go check out his channel, The Car Creative. My name's Davey. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.